This class covers epidemiology and an in-depth look at the ACSM risk factors for heart disease, which we looked at previously a few classes back. So if you're interested in epidemiology, and so it's the study of distribution and determinants of disease, and primarily it focused in the past on infectious diseases, and to some extent it still does. So if there's a flu outbreak, if there's the Ebola outbreak, then people from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are going to act, and they are going to, look and see where the outbreaks are and how can risk be reduced. So, but in more recent years, there's been more of epidemiology in lifestyle diseases, and looking at cancer and physical activity, heart disease, and all sorts of, lifestyle-related diseases such as those. And if you are really interested in epidemiology, our excellent grad programs at University of South Carolina, they are one of the leading universities in the whole country with epidemiology as it relates to physical activity. Now you really got to like your stats, and you've got to really enjoy data if you're interested in epidemiology. But they are one of the best in the country, and they're just down the road. And so, we're trying to link disease with causes, with the environment, with the population, and look at the interaction of the environment and the people that cause disease. On Blackboard, there's a link to all these major epidemiology studies as they relate to exercise and physical activity. So do go through these in the links section, because we will have some questions on the test about these. And many of these are large-scale studies. Some of them have been going on since the 50s. The Framingham Heart Study, 50s, 60s, the Harvard Alumni Study. Of course, they're only Framingham's in Massachusetts. It's only a specific region of the country. Framingham does study both men and women. Harvard alumni, mostly men. And so as a result, they started from Harvard the Nurses' Health Study to get long-term data on women's health. So what they'll typically do with these studies is they'll send out annual questionnaires. They may have people actually come in for physical exams to measure height, weight, calculate BMI, get blood draws. But these have been ongoing, so they've had thousands of people in these studies for years. And so they look to see who develops diabetes, who develops cancer, who develops heart disease, and they look at the influence of people's health habits over time. Many of you are also familiar with the Cooper Institute. Dr. Steve Blair, he was there for many years, and now he's back at University of South Carolina. So they've got a lot of data, not the most diverse. Initially it was mostly men. They don't have quite as much data as what they do. They have more on women, but not as much as what they used to have. The Women's Health Trial, once again, was developed to specifically study women's health. Some important data have come out of that, particularly about heart disease risk in women and the role of taking estrogen, that it does not really help reduce their cardiac disease risk. The Cardia study is a very interesting study. It's been going on since the 1980s, and they recruited people as young adults, so basically college student age and young adulthood, and they followed them for about 20 years. So it's probably one of the most diverse in ethnicity, but it's also diverse in geography, because they have different centers throughout the country where they are studying people in this, in Cardia. So be aware of all these different studies and what they're involved with, and are they mostly men, women, or other types of populations.